What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you? It's DeMarcus. Really quiet right now. There's a lot that's going to be going on today. I'm going to have some fun. It's going to be a minute. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a real good one. I hope you get something from this. Feel free to share it and blast it out. I got a chance to, I'm not at work today, so I get a chance to talk with you today. So, we're going to go into it. And it's called The Waiting Room. Today is July 2nd, and I am DeMarcus Tunstall, and I am here to give you this word, bro. Woo! You ready? Oh, I'm back in my office. You see that? Still blessed. Still blessed. You know what I'm saying? So, let's get it. And this is always Humble and Focused. You can find us on YouTube at Humble and Focused, all one word. And this is the beta project. So we're going to go and get started with the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a skit. I'm going to read to you. We're going to do some quotes. We're going everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We're going everywhere. So here we go. Let's start off with the skit starring DeMarcus Tunstall in The Waiting Room. Haha, yeah. Ready? Here we go. Thank you for coming to the doctor's office. How may I help you? Yeah, I've got an appointment here. What's your name, sir? Hi, I'm DeMarcus. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, sir. Insurance card? Thank you. Please have a seat in the waiting room. The doctor will call you when he's ready. Okay. "30 minutes later. How may I help you? Do you know how long it's going to be? The doctor, he hasn't come and got me yet. The doctor will come and get you when he's ready. Please have a seat, sir. Oh. Angry Birds. Pokemon. And scene. Woo! Wow. That was so beautiful. So deep. I kind of like the music though. The music's kind of chill. But I think that's that waiting room music, so that's why I kind of like it. But anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, this is about the waiting room. And I want to do this skit at the beginning because we often talk about wanting to do things, wanting something more for our lives, but we often start in the waiting room and we realize that we've been waiting for so long for something to change that nothing ever does. So we go ahead and we allow ourselves to just sit there and wait, read books, watch TV, play Angry Birds on our iPhones and smartphones and everything else. And we don't realize that at this time when we're doing these things, we should be making something happen. We should be moving forward and doing something, but we often get stuck in that waiting room. And it's crazy because there are too many times you'll hear somebody say, no, I'm fine, or no, my life is good, or I don't need any change. All you're seeing them do is sitting in a waiting room and they don't see any value to the life they have. Now, they may think they do, but I'm telling you right now, when someone's comfortable enough that they don't want to move, then what they're telling you is that they have stopped growing and this is where they're going to be planted. Now, here's a problem with that. They are going to either outgrow their soil or their soil will be removed from them. So they are going to move regardless. It might be now or it might be later, but something will happen. And that's all I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen. I really want you to see that at the end of the day, you can be comfortable now, but people are going to pass away. It's going to be uncomfortable. Money's going to get tight or going to disappear. It's going to get uncomfortable. Something's going to break. You're going to be removed from something. Something's going to happen. You're going to have an injury. So what I want you to realize, ladies and gentlemen, is that in all reality, that all this stuff you're trying to save and keep here in this waiting room, and you know, the crazy part about this waiting room is what? Who runs the waiting room? It wasn't me. It was this lady. Hi, may I help you? Thank you for coming to the doctor's office. She is running the waiting room. She is telling you what you will and must do to do what you want, right? So I want you to always consider the fact that if you're not willing to step up and take control of your life, and you just want to sit there and stay there, then nothing will ever change. And some people don't think they need to change. Well, guess what? Change the only constant in life. Do. You want something different? You got to do something different. I'm not the same man before. I'm not the same man that used to go out to the clubs all the time and party with my friends. I'm not the same man that used to wild out and act a fool. I'm not the same man that would go on the street cussing, acting a fool, treating people, disrespecting people because I could. That was the guy. That was a different guy. But I wanted change. See, then I was in my waiting room, but I didn't think I needed to change until I stepped back and realized that the waiting room is actually a death trap. And it'll keep you where you are. I could have been the same man back then, right now. How many people do you know that have never grown up? And it's not about growing up, but the thing is, if you're not willing to make those steps and move forward, then guess what happens? You get stagnant and you stay right where you are. And that brings me to quote one. Quote one. The sooner you step away from your comfort zone, the sooner you'll realize that it wasn't that comfortable. I feel like I'm playing Mario. So I want you to think about this, ladies and gentlemen. So we talked about stepping away from your comfort zone. How many of you guys go to a waiting room and the chairs are not very comfortable? Or go to a waiting room and the thing is up against your knees. You know what I'm saying? It's against your knees. It's like, ow, it hurt my knee. Or there's all these other people in this waiting room. On your face. You're like, thank you. Oh, that's so nice of you. Guy bleeding out his arm, just shooting on your face. Appreciate you, sir. Can you you got a gushing vein, sir. A waiting room is not comfortable. It's not designed to be comfortable. There's not spa. You don't see a spa. You're not getting a massage. You're not getting all you're doing is you're sitting right there and you're waiting in these uncomfortable chairs because you have to wait, or they told you to wait. That's all you have. You don't have anything else. Uncomfortable chairs and waiting room, right? So when you step back from the waiting room and you see how uncomfortable it actually is, you realize you don't have to stay there. Now, obviously, it's a little bit different whenever it's a waiting room, because you're there for a reason, which we're all here in our waiting room season for a reason. But if you're not willing to move and get up and stand up and go walk away, get something to drink because it's too hot, too cold, too sweaty, too sick in there, then you're not going to get anything else. So, let's go ahead and go into my reading. All right, here we go. Let me turn that down. So, today's book is going to be brought to you by my mentor and good friend, Marlene Trice. And she hooked me onto this book, but ironically enough, you probably already read it, ladies and we kind of talked about it before. You've read it or had it read to you because this book has been around for a long time. And the genius of this man is not even explained, because we always find that we think these books are for kids, and this one's not. But we read it to the kids. But I want you to read it. Next time you read it, don't read it to the kids. Read it to yourself and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're going to read like about 5 to 10 pages of this, and it's important. So I'll flip it around like I'm reading a storybook in the school. Okay, I'll mess up on words. It's okay. I got this. I promise you. I won't be mad. Okay. So it's all the place you would go by the genius of Dr. Seuss. So we're gonna start off by, out there things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsie as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. See? By the way, the character is right here in the middle, so that's the guy we're watching. So things are happening. He said, I'm just going to go along with it, right? Oh, the places you will go. And now he's in a place he had never been before. It almost looks like he's like, bewildered. You'll be up on your way. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. They're the high flyers. See what I'm saying? Like, he started moving, so now he's joining he started moving here, down there, and now he's soaring all these high heights, right? Okay? So, you won't lag behind, because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang, and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. So now, remember, this is the High Flyers Club at first. This is the people that he was trying to catch. He caught them, meaning that he became one of them, and he kept moving. Let's see if we can get it better. Okay, he kept moving And now he's leading the pack, which means he had to lead, if he wanted to go any further, he had to leave behind what he knew to be true. This is the waiting room over here. It wasn't the waiting room at first. Oops, so I'm going the wrong way. Sorry. It's kind of important. So this wasn't the waiting room at first. At first, this was the destination. He wanted to be over here with these folks, ladies and gentlemen, but he wasn't there yet. But then he got there, but he didn't stop there. He kept flying, and he's leading the pack. So he moved outside of his comfort zone. He got to where he wanted to go, but he kept going. Okay? Except, let me read that last part. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Okay? Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that the bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. Bang-ups and hang-ups. You get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on. You'll be left in a lurch. So he started taking the lead, and guess what? His gang left him behind. It happens in life, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to get stuck in a tree over here, and you're just going to keep moving. Life doesn't stop for you. This is what it's saying. You know, that group that you passed will pass you if you don't move forward and you get stuck in a tree. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump. And the chances are then you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. This is the waiting room too. You'll come down. This is where you just stop. Now watch, it's going to get real crazy because this book is going to take you somewhere. Follow me here. Follow me. I know you have no choice, but you get what I'm saying. You'll come to a place where the streets are not marked, the unknown. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. How dare you stay out? Sorry, do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? If only you, let's see, if you, if you go in, should you turn left or right? Or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite. Or go around back and sneak in from behind. Simple as not, I'm afraid you will find. For a mind maker upper to make up his mind. So he's in a place he doesn't know. He's kind of wandering around. He doesn't know which way to go. There's a lot of different places he can be. So we're almost here to the part that I want you to. And oh my gosh, I didn't realize it says the waiting place. When I did this video, I didn't know it was going to say the waiting place. I promise, just so cool. Okay, so you can get so confused that you'll start in to race down long wiggled roads at a breaking neck pace and grind on for miles across weirdly wild space, headed, I fear, to a most useless place. The waiting room. Dum dum dum. We're almost there. I cannot believe what's about to happen, so this is so cool. Alright, so let's go to the next one. We're going to the waiting place, and it says, for people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or a phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or a no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for a fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night. Did you hear that? How hard you working? Is that your goal? Friday night? That's your release. You worked 5 days to get one. If somebody said, "Hey man, I'll give you $5 if you give me 2," would you do it? Just keep that in mind. Or you know what I'm saying. You give me $5, I'll give you 2 back. Or give me $7, I'll give you 2 back. There we go. Give me 7, I'll give you 2 back. Does that sound like a good trade to you? We do that every day with our lives, with time. And funny thing is, we can't get more time. So we're in the waiting place. So waiting for a fish to bite, waiting for a wind to fly a kite, waiting around for Friday night, or perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better to break, something to happen for you, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. The one thing I like about this particular, let me move this over just a little bit. The one thing I like about this particular page is that it illustrates everything that we do. We consistently are just waiting around. Even in here it said for a Friday night, meaning that he knows, even whenever he wrote this book before he passed, that all people do is work to get to Friday so they can party, and then they'll go back to work again. And then another chance, ladies and gentlemen, we often feel like we don't deserve another chance, but it will come to us. But that's another chance doesn't happen in the waiting room. Another chance doesn't happen in the waiting room, ladies and gentlemen. And no, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. And I'll stop at this page because I wanted him to escape, and so he did. He escaped and he came to another place. But ladies and gentlemen, the reason I brought that up and I wanted to read that to you is because that waiting room aspect that we consistently, oh, sorry, hold on. Things die in the waiting room, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you like it or not, things go to die. And in all reality, you've got to keep in mind that if you want something more out of life, the book itself showed you, like, you're waiting for the babies and you're waiting for the kids and another chance. You're waiting for a bite to eat. You got cats waiting for the food to pop up. Boiling water, waiting for snow so you can ski. People waiting up on top of the bus, waiting. This guy's at work, waiting for the time clock. Waiting here, waiting there, older lady waiting, guys waiting here. The phones are not connected. He's waiting for a call. This kid sitting down here at the bottom, he's waiting for a wind so he can fly his kite. And then these people are just waiting to go to the bathroom. Or I guess that's what that is. But ladies and gentlemen, the waiting room will never solve a problem. So mind yourself when you're around people who are very comfortable with who they are and where they are. Goes to the next quote. Comfort zones are comfortable because they're familiar, not because they're healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a lot of people in that waiting room with you. There's going to be a lot of people sitting down there next to you that are not moving, and because they're not moving, you're going to feel it's not okay. In a waiting room, guess what people don't make? They don't make noise. And if you make noise in the waiting room, you're the weird one and people look at you funny. But instead of singing your song in the waiting room, oh, I want to dance with somebody. Instead of singing your song in the waiting room, you keep it real quiet and to yourself because you don't want to disturb anybody else and nobody else wants to disturb you. So you got a lot of individuals not disturbing each other in a waiting room where they're waiting to get what's next for them. But in all reality, ladies and gentlemen, they are there to die. If they don't move, then they don't live. There's death in the waiting room. And I'm talking about there is physical death in there, but ladies and gentlemen, by staying still in that place, that proverbial waiting room place, all you're doing is letting your time pass out. You can get more money in life. You can get more happiness in life. You can get more cars and houses, but you can't get more time. That's the only thing that you have that you can't get more time. And a waiting room, all it means is that you're waiting for time to pass. So if you're waiting for time to pass, what you're doing is you're extinguishing the only thing in your life that you can't get more of. Boom. I'm going to go to the next video. The next quote. Great things never come in comfort zones. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't get anything great from sitting in the comfort zone. The great things happen when you go behind the door or out of the door to where the doctor is and he solves your problem. You don't solve the problem in the waiting room. All you're doing in the waiting room is waiting. You only have one. You might be able to read, but you're waiting. You might be able to be on your phone, but you're waiting. You might be taking a phone call, but you're waiting. All these things are happening, but guess what? You're still waiting at the end of the day. That is what's happening. That is all that is happening in the waiting room. So there's no movement. So guess what? If there's no movement, that means there's no action. If there's no action, that means nothing can be created. And if nothing can be created, then no great things ever come from a waiting room. Last quote. Oh, requote. The sooner you step away from the comfort zone, you realize how uncomfortable it was. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a life right now, and you don't even realize that you're comfortable in it to the point where you've accepted it to being your reality. If that's the rest of your life, if what happens to you right now is the rest of your life, what would you do? Some of you be like, oh, I'd be fine with it. But ladies and gentlemen, you're meant for more than just sitting around waiting. Even if you have children, your children aren't waiting to grow up, but yet you're waiting to stay still. Don't let them be an excuse. Let them be your fire. If your children are there and you have kids, I don't have kids, they should be your fire for something great, not your hindrance. Do something amazing for your children. Stop sitting in that muck and allowing things to go the way that you don't want them to go just because you don't understand or know which way to go. In that book, all you did was see people waiting. Babies are waiting to grow up. Old people are waiting to die. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's some stuff in between that. And you can get up and get to work. You can change this world, or you can see the world, or you can be the world. But sitting there is not going to do anything. Last quote. A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. Ladies and gentlemen, think about that for a second. Comfort zones are not designed to create. Remember this last quote right before it? It wasn't really comfortable. I don't think that's the one I want. I want this one. Great things never come from comfort zones, right? And now it's telling you that a comfort zone is a beautiful place. Ladies and gentlemen, waiting rooms are usually some of the most beautiful places in the world. They're just not comfortable, and things are not grown there. If you want to talk on the phone, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. When you have a business deal and you're in the waiting room and you have somebody talking on the phone, what do? They stand up and they leave because they understand that in the waiting room it's supposed to be quiet and peaceful and don't disturb people. Whenever somebody's in the waiting room talking on the phone really loud, everybody looks at them like, would you be quiet? I'm waiting here. I don't want to be disturbed here. But ladies and gentlemen, here's the real situation. You should always be disturbed if you're in the waiting room. When someone comes up to you and says, hey, you're not good enough yet, I believe you're worth more, listen to what they're trying to tell you. Because what they're trying to tell you is that I see right now where you are, and you don't deserve to have to stay there or be there. But if you say things like, my life is great, or that I've created a great life for myself, I don't have to do anything more, or that I don't believe I need to move, I'm fine, or that, I've got this and I've got that and I'm good, that means that you're telling them the reasons why you don't feel like it's necessary to move yourself. But you have to move because movement creates action and action creates life. And you cannot create life, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in a comfort zone because nothing grows there. If you want to grow something more, if you want to be something more, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to take a different type of you to do so. And that's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a little long. And like I said, the book is called All the Places You Could Go. I just read the middle of it because it's such a strong, powerful. But don't be sitting there, ladies and gentlemen, expecting to do something great in the waiting room, waiting for your blessing, waiting for your awesomeness. Because you know what? Even God himself wants you out there moving. He doesn't say get in the waiting room. Even when he has you standing still, he doesn't really mean stand still. He means be patient. Now, being patient and being in the waiting room are two separate things, ladies and gentlemen. This will be the last thing I go to. I don't know why this came on my heart because I was not talking about this at the beginning. But being patient means you're not stopping, but you're going to be patient and allow things to happen and interactions to happen, but you're still moving. You could be patiently waiting down the road for a ride, but at the same time you're walking in comparison to you're waiting somewhere for something to happen. There's a difference between patience and waiting. You need to stop waiting for things to happen and get to work as you patiently get to work, because you'll get closer to your destination if you start that walk that way. But if you're waiting here, your destination will always be the same distance away. But the thing is, you're losing time, so you're not able to achieve it before when you're supposed to. You're going to be late. Be patient, but don't wait. Don't stay in a comfort zone and don't stay relaxed, because, ladies and gentlemen, in the comfort zone, where that relaxing happened is exactly what's going to keep you where you are. Default, going back to your default. Nothing changes if you don't go and forward and reset your default. I put back on a lot of the weight I lost before because I didn't change my default settings. I worked out, I got good, and then something brought me back and I went back to my default because it was easier. Guess what your default is? It's your waiting room. All the things that you do and you're excited about, and then all of a sudden you just stop them and you return back to your normal because that's been created over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You realize at one point in time you were not in the waiting room. There was a point in time where you were outside of the waiting room and you had to walk inside, meaning that the waiting room was the destination that you wanted to get to, because that destination would take you to the next level. But people get into the waiting room and they stop, they stay. They hang out in the waiting room, ladies and gentlemen. That is all it is. The waiting place is what they called it in here. So you're going through and you're sitting down and you're thinking about all these things that you want to do. And you got to the waiting room because the waiting room is what you wanted, where you wanted to be. But in all reality, ladies and gentlemen, the waiting room is just a place where people are not really talking. Even here, they're not talking to each other. You're just sitting down waiting for something to happen. This is not the waiting room you want to be in. You were not always in this waiting room. You had to get action to get here. So you had to take action to walk. Even this kid in the story, he didn't know which way to go. He had no idea which way to go, so he had to start walking left or right down the winding road. He's not here yet. You see what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? Let me go back one more. He doesn't know which way to go here, so he had to start walking, taking action to try to get out of that place. He keeps walking. He's on a path. He has to walk here. He doesn't. Now, up here, up here, that's that waiting place. But he has to walk to get there, just like you have to drive to go to the doctor's office to sit in a waiting place. And then This is where people get stuck. Don't let yourself get stuck in the waiting zone, ladies and gentlemen. You walked to get there. You took the energy to get there. Now walk right the heck back out and go do what you're supposed to do. The world needs you. I keep telling you this because I've been told this, and I'm starting to realize more and more as I embrace my power and go after it, that the world has need for me, and it will need me to do something. And don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody take you to the waiting room and drop you off as they leave and go do their own thing. You ever had that happen? They're too busy with their lives to stay with you in the waiting room, so they leave you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's real life. I used to be in the waiting room. A lot of my friends right now are sitting in the waiting room and they don't even understand, or they don't even know that that's exactly where they are. They're sitting in the waiting room and I had to drop them all. I came with them. I didn't stay with them. I gotta go. And that's what you need to do. You need to sit down and you're like, wait a second, whoa. Hey, I'm still in the waiting room. And you need to stand up out of your chair and you need to walk out that office because there's stuff you need to get done. But you can't get anything done in the waiting room, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do in there is wait. I'm DeMarcus Tunsil. This is the Beta Project. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate it. I hope you got something from this video. And don't wait, ladies and gentlemen. The world needs you. Don't let her stop your pride by telling you to sit down. No. Have a seat. No, I don't want to have a seat. I want to go back there. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But you guys have a great day. Remember, I believe and I love each and every single one of you. And if nobody's telling you how great you are, I will tell you every day. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't deserve or you don't have to be in that waiting room. That's a choice to stay there. You might miss your appointment. That's the crazy part about it. That's why we wait, because we don't want to miss our appointment. But ladies and gentlemen, what appointments are you missing outside of the waiting room? The waiting room in reality. So you're inside the waiting room, you're wasting your time sitting there. And in all reality, you're missing what you're supposed to be doing outside in life. So get out of that waiting room. Step up, stand up, step up and walk forward. It's time to get out. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you. Like I said, 20 minutes. I don't have to work today, so I got a chance to really get into it. But tomorrow it will be shorter, so I appreciate you being here. And yeah, if you need anything from me, please ask. I'm here for you. But I will not be coming to visit you. I'll come visit you in the waiting room, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I'll bring you a cup of water, but after that, I gotta go. So I'll talk to you soon.